Okay, good morning. Before we start, Kate, could you kindly add Lance in this session? For some reason, when I tried to type his user, a lot of usernames pop up, so I need to know which one of those is the correct one.
All right, let me try. Give me one moment.
Thanks. There you go. I'm seeing him now. Good morning, Lance.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Okay, you're the Lance from My Outdesk, right? Just making sure. All right,
Cool.
so good morning, everyone. We have Belle here, but I think her microphone is not working fine, so she'll just be a silent observant. Um, all right, so before we begin, let me ask you guys, how are you doing today?
We're doing okay. How about yourself?
That was the same response I got from my chat message.
Yeah. Well, we're okay. Catching up with the leads that I've missed last week because I was on leave for 2 days, although it
Okay.
wasn't, it wasn't consecutive, but still I have to make a lot of follow-ups. Um, but so far so good.
Okay, that's really nice. How about you, Lance? Thank you so much, Kay.
I'm
You're
doing
welcome.
doing fine. I'm doing fine. I'm always doing fine every day, day in, day out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Were you also leave last week? I bet you were because it was your birthday. Was it?
Oh yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
Just the usual, where when you start to get old, you don't really have to worry about those stuff. Gone were the
Well,
days of partying and you know,
yeah,
drinking
that's
and all
true.
that.
Well, I would know how it feels like because I'm gonna be celebrating mine next week. So,
Wow.
and Belle
Advance happy
too.
birthday.
Thank you. Belle will be celebrating hers too. So, let's forget about getting old. Let's
I don't
just
feel like getting old at all.
Yeah, let's just stay young and wild
That's
and free.
right.
All right. So, anyways, did you guys get the message that I sent over Hangout?
Yeah,
So the reason why we are actually on this call is because, first of all, I bet that I haven't had a chance to talk to you guys yet over Hangout or over a phone call. So I'm grabbing this opportunity to speak to both of you because I know that we've just been chatting over Glipt and it's our first time to meet over Hangout or over a phone call, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna maximize this opportunity to get to know you guys even more. And before anything else, let's start off by briefly introducing ourselves and the current task that we are handling with our or with Heidi Fong and Billy Fong's team. So I get to understand, or we get to understand each other's roles. Is that fine?
Sure.
All right. So later on, well, the purpose of this session actually is it's more of us understanding the roles of one another, and in order for us to get to know how we can help each other out in terms of meeting our goals and improving our performance. So allow me to start off first, if that's okay with you, because I know that you guys are already have an idea of who you are and perhaps you guys already know each other's roles. So let me just since I'm the first, I'm the newest guy in the team. I'd like to grab the opportunity to introduce myself first. Is that okay?
Sure. Go ahead. We'd love to.
Okay, all right, cool. So I joined Heidi Fong's team just when was that, Bell? I forgot. Just about 3 weeks ago. I was actually first I was offered. I don't know if you guys already know. Coach Daphne is my wife, so I
Hmm.
was off. Yeah, I was offered by her if if I am still available to add more hours, and I said yes to it because who wouldn't say yes if you think that you're available. Plus,
Hmm.
it adds up to my finances. I bet that I was able to agree with her, and then I was interviewed by Heidi. I was actually hired just about 3 weeks ago, but my category or my job role wasn't clearly identified yet until recently, wherein I had my trainings with Bell, and Billy has approached me about certain priorities and opportunities that he has observed from his end. So he actually assigned me to help out in the ISA department, which is going to be one of my priorities as of the moment. But then later on, I'm going to be jumping out and then be learning several tasks related to our administrative team too, like creating offers, stuff like those. And I work from Mondays to Thursdays from 3:15 Pacific, 3:15 p.m. until 5:45 p.m. Pacific. So that's technically 6:15 a.m. until 8:45 a.m. Manila time, Tuesdays to Fridays. So if you guys, just in case that you might need me somewhere within your shift, and if just in case I'm not available, at least you know what my schedules are.
Okay.
All right, but yeah, you can still leave me a message via Hangout. I usually go online from I'm online. I'm already online in Hangout from 8 a.m. because I work with another client. I'm working with another client, so I start my shift with them from 8 a.m. Eastern until uh, 6 a.m. 6 p.m. Eastern. So I'm basically I'm just here all day, all night, in case you need me.
Okay.
All right. So background prior to joining the team, I have been with Mod by the way since 2012. Started off as Nize, and then I was absorbed by the my Outdesk management team as a coach for quite some time, and then became a trainer, became a training team lead, and then I worked back to working with a client, which is actually my client up to now. On the other side, I'm actually working as a vice president for business operations, wherein I'm managing the entire marketing and ISA's team. So it's just the same type of role that I was hired for. I think with Heidi Fong's team, and they're wanting to utilize my knowledge and my experience in helping out our team as well in improving our performance and beating our goals. That's the word, beating, not just meeting. It's more on beating the goal. So that's why I'd like to speak to you. I'd like to grab this opportunity to understand your roles, what systems are in place, um, how familiar are you guys with regard to the processes, and basically it's more on your experience with the team. What do you think? What do you guys think about the opportunities, things that we need to improve, stuff like that. So we'll be tackling them one by one today. If we can squeeze them all together, would be great. That's about me. So who would like to go next? Ladies first.
All right. Well, yeah, I've been with the team for like more than a year. I started April 1st last year, and I started with MOD last year also, but I got hired in February, and I was hired by Billy. I started as part-time ISA, and then later on Billy asked me to work for him full time sometime in June. And yeah, before I was doing, like I made mention to you on Glip, that prior to calling Zillow and buyer leads and seller leads, I was also doing some GVA tasks to help out Belle with her tasks when we were just starting. And later on, Billy hired Angel to help Belle with the rest of the GVA tasks. So most of the GVA tasks were taken off from me, but I was still sending out emails for Zillow leads, and I'm still doing it now. But there was a time that, that kind of stopped because Billy wanted to use the Zillow concierge because they said that they've been paying up a huge amount of money for Zillow, and that's like part of their free service now, and they wanted to avail of that. But now Heidi wanted me to call back the rest of the Zillow leads that haven't been contacted for some reason, or haven't been, referred to agents. And these are leads that, inquired to us a couple of months ago. Probably the uh, the eldest, the most, the latest lead that I was able to follow up was later than December, probably about October or September last year, that I'm trying to get hold of as of the moment. And I'm quite surprised that even if, these are old inquiries, there are still some who are still interested, who are still looking. And that's how I get my appointments on Zillow leads. But still, I'm calling out Boomtown leads as well, those that are inquiring to us through HeidiFungHomes.com. But it's also for seller leads who are inquiring, but most of the seller leads, Lens are taking charge of them. And those are basically some of the tasks that I'm using. I'm calling out past Zillow leads. I'm using Mojo to dial those past Zillow leads. And I'm using Boomtown and personal feedback. Should we talk about personal feedback right now, or this is just introduction about the
So the
about
over
Adam Bailey's team
Yeah, this is the overview of yourself first. We're gonna
overview?
tackle them. Yep.
All right, I think I went a little bit overboard. So that's just
No,
an introduction of
no
myself.
worries. Yeah.
Yeah, and professionally, just to give you also before I came in, before I worked in MOD, I worked also at a BPO company. We were technical support representatives for AT&T's internet support system. And professionally, I'm a registered nurse, but I'm a stay-at-home full-time mom right now. And I'm glad that I was able to be part of the team, who is, growing as the time goes by. And hopefully, I'll be able to contribute to the growth of the team as the years goes on. So basically, that's me and my background.
Thank you so much. That was really well said and done, Belle. Kay. Sorry, I
Okay.
was looking at a photo of Belle.
All right. That's all right.
All right, so yep, Lance, it's your turn, man.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm just finishing my coffee here. Just give me one
Oh,
second.
sure, sure. Take the last sip.
All right, cool stuff. Nice to hear from you, Christian and Kay. Well, I started with my Outdesk last year as well. Um, Billy and Heidi hired me as a part-time ISA. When I started with the team, I initially Billy wanted me to call for prospecting, and they've noticed that I haven't been able to set up um, appointments with prospecting, cold prospecting. So they decided to hire me full time, and that's when I started working on seller leads. And I also got a pretty good amount of leads from Kay from Boomtown, the one that she's nurturing. So I've handled those as well. So right now I'm working on buyers and sellers. Aside from that, before joining my Outdesk, I was a credit card collector. I was with HSBC for oh God, 5 years, and Capital One. So both banks, and I was purely taking outbound, inbound calls for credit cards.
Okay, that's really interesting.
So yeah, that's pretty much about me, and I'm hoping that this is going to be a productive session because Kay and I have been talking about how we can improve the team a lot,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
and we're also concerned about our own numbers, and
Mhm.
hopefully we can come up with something efficient, effective to help everybody, and of course contribute to the team.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure, sure,
Mhm.
definitely, definitely, and that's something that we're going to be working on in the next coming days, because we will be together for the next coming days. So expect us to explode and spend more time together
Mhm.
via chat, via hangout, via Glip.
Mhm.
Previously, we've been thinking. Billy and I have been chatting about process improvement, stuff like what are the things that have been working, what are the things that are not working. So that's something that I couldn't identify until today, because I'm going to be getting personal feedback from you. All right, but I couldn't really finalize my evaluation until we have tried and tested every certain approach that are in place and have not been in place. So we can only identify that, and then after uh, after next coming days, basically. So let's proceed with systems that are currently in place or being used. You mentioned earlier that you guys are working on Zillow leads and Boomtown leads, right?
That's right.
Okay. So those are given. Any other systems that have not been mentioned?
I'm not sure if Lance is still using Cold Realty for prospecting. Are you still prospecting, Lance?
No, I tried to log in on Cole, but it says that the profile has been deactivated. So right now,
Oh,
what
okay.
I'm using aside from those mentioned is Land Voice. That's what I use for getting expired, withdrawn, and
Mm.
canceled leads.
All right.
Lance, let me ask you a straightforward question, so I need to get
Mhm.
a straightforward answer too. How often, or if you could specify the exact number of hours spent on Land Voice in a weekly basis?
When I started with the team, and when I first got assigned to taking over seller leads,
Hmm.
I spent more than half of the shift in calling seller leads. But it got to a point where the leads are already maxed out in terms of the number of attempts I've called them.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
now getting them twice a week, and then I would
You're coming in and out, my
voice
friend.
like before, where I've because what I'm doing right before was
Lance, you're breaking up.
Jerwin. One second.
Okay. I'm not sure if it's just from my end. How about from UK? Is
Yeah, I can hear the same thing.
which one?
Oh, he's breaking in and out.
Okay.
Um, yeah, that's what I thought. How about this? Can you hear me better now?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear
Much
you
better.
just fine. Only that I think that you're having trouble with your connection.
Okay, so as I was saying, when I started calling seller leads, I've joined coaching session with Jerwin. He's one of the SMEs assigned to
Okay.
seller leads, and he advised me to call age expired. So from
Mm-hmm.
that point, what I did was I called all of the canceled, withdrawn, expired leads started back in January of 2015. At that point, I had a really good amount of lead, and I've invested more time in calling seller
Mm-hmm.
leads. But right now, since I've
Mm-hmm.
already exhausted those leads, I've switched over to calling
The new
Zillow leads,
ones.
and
Oh,
not
okay.
Zillow leads, but Boomtowns, yes, and the new
Mm-hmm.
ones.
Okay. So going back to Land Voice, how much time do you spend with Land Voice on a weekly basis? Let's just stick to the past 4 weeks. How much
Um,
time did you spend with Land Voice? Like 4 hours in a
At
week
least
or
at least 1 hour a day.
1 hour a day? So how many days do you work in a week?
2 hours, yeah.
2 hours. 2 hours?
Yes, depending on the availability of leads that come in from Land Voice.
Hang on, let me just clarify that. 2 hours. You work for 2 hours in a week. No, I
I,
got
I
confused.
think he meant 2 hours per day.
2 hours per day with land voice
hmm
only,
hmm
right?
I think so.
And how many
Lance,
days? How many days do you work in a week?
he works 5 days.
5 days.
So
Mhm.
that's 10 hours with land voice per
Mhm.
week, correct?
Mhm.
That's correct. Yes.
All right. How about you, Kate? Do you spend time with land voice too?
No, I don't spend time with Land Voice anymore because all of the leads that are coming in from Land Voice are mostly seller leads, and it was actually me who suggested to Billy to give the seller leads to Land so that he'll have more opportunity for phone appointments, and at least he'll have more opportunity as well to speak to a different kind of set of leads instead of just cold prospecting because I know how hard it is to do prospecting all the time. And sometimes,
Oh,
when you're not getting any appointments at all in a week, it somehow, lowers down your morale as an ISA. It somehow, keeps the
okay.
motivation down. So
Yep.
that's
Yep.
why I suggested to Billy to give Lance, get Lance in charge of Land
Yeah.
Voice. So
Yeah.
that's why I don't have any access or time for Land Voice anymore. I'm only doing um, Mojo and most of the time Boomtown.
Yep. I agree with you. Well, just to clearly, just to clearly explain how it should be, as an
Mhm.
ISing, I truly understand that there are times that it gets so frustrating and disappointing whenever
Mhm.
you are unable to set up
Yeah.
an appointment for quite some time or for a specific period of time. But you know what? What I've learned out of my almost 4 years of stay with my Altes, and being when I was actually part of batch four, and what I've learned from my trainer way back was this: it doesn't really matter whether you're setting up appointments or not. What matters is that you keep learning
That's
from
right.
each and every call that you make. You keep
Mhm.
striving hard and
Mhm.
figuring out the best approach that you can use because
That's
you
right.
have excuse me, you have no control of setting up appointments with bad leads, right?
Right.
And what are those bad leads? How do you categorize them? Well, number one, if it's a wrong number, there's
That's
nothing
right.
that you can do, right? Number two
Mhm.
is if the person that you're talking to was not really approved at all by the
Mhm.
bank, so they really couldn't afford, right?
Mhm.
There are tons of them. There are tons of reasons, but demotivation is actually or should not be part of any options. But it's a human nature that we get disappointed, right? But
That's right.
just to for us to be able to accomplish our goal in improving our performance as much as we can. Let's take out that option of being frustrated, being
Okay.
disappointed
Mhm.
every time that we're unable to set up appointment. The
Mhm.
more we are out of appointments, the more we get motivated. That's the mindset that we should have in order for us to be able to accomplish our mission.
Got it.
Will you guys
All
Mhm.
be
right.
with me on this?
I agree. Totally agree.
Yep, yep.
Mhm.
Let's have the courage and allow me to speak in vernacular. Forgive me, Heidi and Billy. Pero this time, kailangan natin kasi yun eh. That's what we need.
Mhm.
We need to change our mindset in order for us to be able to hit our targets. And
Mhm.
believe me, it has worked in so many times. When I was an ISA, I had the same experience. I wasn't even closing any appointments for a year.
Mhm.
But my coach, my trainer, and my client, they were all with me and they were monitoring my performance, my calls, my logs, my systems, and all that. But still, they figured out that I really couldn't set up an appointment, and I was so frustrated. And they asked me a simple question: how do you think your frustration will be able to help you set up appointments? I got no answer to that question, believe me. And that's what I realized, that frustration is just a part of human nature. So since it's a part of human nature, it doesn't help out, it doesn't contribute, it wouldn't really help you out at all. So take that off the formula. We need to take that out and replace it with courage. I know that's something that's not easy to do. Come on, Christian. It's impossible. But yeah, we can do that. Can we?
Yes, I agree with you.
Lance?
Definitely. Yep.
Okay. All right. So that's one of the things that I'd like us to implement for now. All right. While we haven't cracked the code yet, we need to replace frustration with courage. So please keep that in mind. All right. So going forward, we would also be discussing familiarity of the systems. How are you guys familiar? Are you guys 100% familiar with all the systems that you're currently using?
Yes.
Or are there some
Yes.
systems that you guys are kind of have problems with, or having troubles using?
Yeah. Well, with me, honestly, I always have issues with some of the systems like the spreadsheet, and there are some issues also in Mojo that I really can't resolve. I have to admit, I'm not a techie person. I do have a lot of questions. I mean, Belle knows that's one of my weakness. I've always been complaining about my technical difficulties, but I always make sure that I always ask for help when there's something that I really don't know how to set up with, or if I'm having trouble with something.
Hmm.
um, but Lance is the more techie person as compared to me. So if I have any questions with spreadsheets and stuff like that, I have the rest of the team to ask questions with. So that's what I usually do, and make sure that I will take down notes on what to do so that I don't have to keep asking the same questions over and over again, because I know everybody on the team is busy doing their stuff. So that's basically what I do if I'm having some difficulties.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you for your gift of honesty, Kate. I was just curious. Have you already resolved your issues with Mojo and spreadsheet?
Yeah, like I said, Lens was there. So,
Like, what
when
issues do you have with spreadsheet? Is it the
oh,
formula
it's
or the setup?
yeah, it's the new one, the one that we got from Adam Bailey's team.
Okay.
There was like a glitch on the system. There were some things that I could not fix, like some data that doesn't seem to match to what I wanted to type in. But Lance was able to figure it out, and it's working fine now.
Okay, good. How about you,
Mm-hmm.
Lance? Lance?
Yes. So yeah, the spreadsheet that we got from Select Homes from Adam Bailey kind of have a lot of formulas. So you really have to be careful about putting in
Mm-hmm.
the information. So that's where we got mixed up, but that got resolved. So as for my side, I don't have any issues with the system.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much using Mojo and just Boomtown and
Mm-hmm.
Google Voice, mainly those three, and I don't have any issues so far.
Okay, that's good. All right. Well, let me just go back real quick to some of the things that you guys have mentioned earlier, with regard to prospecting. So who's doing the prospecting? Is it still the both of you, or is it just one of you?
Well, right now I'm kind of doing prospecting when I'm calling out old Zillow leads and old
Okay.
Boomtown leads, because these are the leads that have registered but are not really looking, not interested at that time. So it's kind of like prospecting. I'm doing a bit of a prospecting in my end, although they've previously inquired already from us.
Okay. How
Yeah,
about you,
if
Lance?
you're talking about cold prospecting, like just sold, just listed, that's the task that I've been um, handled before. But Billy said that not do that anymore because I personally wasn't being productive. I wasn't
Uh,
So yeah,
okay.
we stopped doing prospecting, and I'm doing seller leads and buyer leads now.
Seller leads and buyer leads.
Mhm.
Okay. What are your rest days, Lance?
Sundays and Mondays.
Okay. How about you, Kay?
Only Sundays.
Only Sundays. Oh, okay. Personal choice, or was it a choice of?
No, it was Billy's choice. He wanted me to be calling those leads that are inquiring on weekends because we do have a lot of leads who are inquiring on weekends, and most likely, some most of the Boomtown leads would inquire past 8 p.m. So if you could just imagine if over the weekend, if there's like 2 days gap and nobody's contacting them, calling them in, by Monday, I would have a lot of email notifications of the increase that are coming in on Boomtown over the weekend. So I'm also a bit glad that I have Saturdays, at least 5 hours on Saturdays to check on those that are inquiring over Friday night or Saturday night, just to be able to touch base with them right away because we do understand that when they're logging into our website, they're also logging into other realtors websites, so it's important
Yeah.
that we touch base with them right away when they're inquiring.
Yep. 3 minute rule. You guys are familiar
Mhm.
with that?
I agree with that.
Okay. How often? All right. Hang on. Before we even go to Adam Bailey's, uh, you guys attend? Do you guys attend SME sessions? I know that Lance mentioned about Jerwin having
Mhm.
an SME session with Jerwin. Do you still get to attend with Jerwin, Lance? Or?
um Me, I was able to attend to the Project Fast Lane at least twice, but you know what, the schedule for the Fast Lane is at 8 to 10, so that's like my peak hours for calling. And even if when I would attend, I will just be listening to the role plays, but I will still be taking calls. So it's kind of hard on my end to be able to concentrate to Project Fastlane and sacrifice my potential leads and my potential phone appointments on my peak hours just to attend to Project Fastlane when mostly um, I noticed that most of the agents who are attending Project Fastlane are the new ones. Those that are those that have just joined I mean MOD for the last 3 months. So I feel like unless I'm
Jan?
there to to listen to, I wanted to be able to listen, take my time to listen to tenured agents. At least
Hmm.
that's something that at least I would get to learn something from them instead of listening to newbies on the team, and I won't not will not be able to get good practices from them, so I'm not attending it anymore, honestly.
Okay. Well,
Mhm.
I kind of like agree with you on that, that you would
Mhm.
learn more from the tenured ones.
Mhm.
But do not, I would say, do not, no, I don't want to use the term underestimate.
Yeah, I don't I didn't mean to be condescending. Only that what I'm trying to say is that I don't want to give up my time on
I
my
know, I understand. That's
yeah,
why I said
because
I don't want to
it's
use the word underestimating because that's not the
yeah.
right term. But at
Yeah,
some point you get my point, right?
I
So,
need to prioritize my time. I mean,
right,
you
right,
do understand that because
right.
it's my peak hours. Most of the time, people are driving home from work or they're already home for dinner, waiting for something else. But most of the time, majority of the people that I talk to, at least 80% of the people that I talk to, are
Hmm.
not on their work shift anymore during those hours. So it's my perfect opportunity for them to keep them on the phone and to be able
Right,
to talk to them and get to see how I can help them.
right,
So I just don't want to give that up.
right, right, right. But let me just catch you right there. Um, the word or the belief that say people are not usually available whenever they're at work, it's actually a myth. One thing that I've
Mm.
learned from one thing that I've learned from the coaching sessions I've got way back was, there there's no such thing as not being able to meet up with you since they are busy at work.
Mhm.
A lot of times, motivated leads, these are the leads who wouldn't even care whether they're at work or whether they're
Mhm.
in a meeting. If they really wanted to work with you, they're going to work with you.
That's true.
Just like what you said earlier, a lot of
Mhm.
realtors have been reaching out to these people. Meaning to
Mhm.
say, if you skip that opportunity of reaching them out because of that belief that they're at work and they're busy, then you're going to lose the opportunity, because another realtor has came up and had reached out to them.
Mhm.
You get my point? So let's always
Yeah.
stick to the 3-minute rule. The moment that they get up in our website, that they get in to our
Mhm.
system, call them right away. Simple as that. Whether they're at work, whether they're not, it doesn't really matter. And that's one of the things that we're going to be tackling in the next coming days is I will also be conducting a quick role play session with each of you.
Mhm.
That's going to be done individually, so I won't take the other time and the others time making phone calls. So we're going to do it one at a time. All right, but that's we're going to do it gradually for now because I would
Yeah.
need to observe key things that are working, key things that are not working, stuff like your opportunities, source of improvement, stuff like that. So we're gonna tackle that in a bit. Nance, sorry. I think yeah, I asked you a question earlier. Would you be able to answer me now?
Yeah, unlike Kay, the start of the fast lane session is exactly at the end of my shift, so I don't
Yep.
have any problem joining them. Last week I was able to join two sessions. That's 2 hours per session, right? If I remember
Hmm.
correctly. But this week I
Mhm.
haven't had a chance. Planning to in the next few days. But yeah, I don't have any problem joining them, even though like what Kay mentioned, most of the attendees there are kind of new to the team. There are
Hmm.
also some tenured ISAs who would just shadow in and would give feedback after the role play session. So it's more of getting best practices from the other ISAs as well, and kind of
Right.
same thing as refresher because even though the role play is with a, new member, they would also still give feedback and kind of makes you think that hey, I haven't said this spill before and I haven't been able to overcome this objection before. So good
Yep.
stuff.
Yep. Well, I agree with you. Project Fast Lanes, it's actually meant for general coaching, and it's also meant for sharing best practices, great ideas, amazing approaches, stuff like those. For both, it should be for both newbies, but mostly for newbies since they don't have enough background, enough experience dealing with the different types of calls. So, but anyhow, there are also some newbies who had experience prior to joining my outdesk, doing phone calls for FISBOs, expireds, and these are the folks that that show up during fast lanes. I had hosted a fast lane when I was still in the training team. I have hosted a fast lane wherein two of my newbies were actually from one was from Australia. He's an Australian, but he's now in the Philippines. And then the other one was from UK, but he's also in the Philippines. So, when they joined my fast lane class, it was kind of awkward for the newbies because they thought that they were real clients. So
Mm.
what happened there was, they were able to share good practices because one of them used to be an agent in UK, so that was really an advantage. I thought that was really nice. Although, however, the purpose of uh, the session was more on injecting ideas and throwing out ideas so that the others would be able to absorb it. And I thought that worked for them. Although there are times that, yep, I like what Kay said. It's really more on setting up your priorities since your main goal is just to observe and obtain good practices that would help you become more effective in your job role, which is in your case wasn't really applicable because, excuse me, they weren't really, they were not fully equipped yet to be able to share good practices with you. I think that was a great choice. So going forward, excuse me, um, I would really appreciate it if you let me know or let us know, Belle and I and Billy and Heidi, whenever you are about to attend such sessions,
Okay.
so
All
we
right.
would know that okay, I mean Kay is going to attend this and that, and we would also be, requesting for feedback from you for every session that you're going to be taking, just to make sure that these sessions are worth your time and are also applicable to your current job role. Because if it's not applicable, yeah, you can still attend it if it's beyond your shift. That's fine. But I think if it's just for additional knowledge, then that's fine. But our main priority right now is to improve our numbers, right? So,
Yeah.
as much as possible, let's stick to that game plan. So we talk about Fastlane. How about the personal SME session with a subject matter expert? Do you guys still get to attend that? Lance, you mentioned about German earlier. Do you still attend that with German?
No,
Not
not
anymore.
anymore. But that was like few sessions only when I was working
Sessions.
with expired leads.
Okay.
That was it.
Okay. Yep. How about you, Kay? Do you still get to attend?
No, I haven't requested for SME
Mm,
for a long time now, but Jerwin has been my personal ISA coach. We were on the same team with Jerry Ramos before,
yeah.
and I got a lot of tips from him, and we're still friends. So if I need to raise my hands, if I need SOS, I'll just go ahead and message him if I have any questions for anything, and he's ready to help right away, even if it's not a scheduled SME.
Yep. 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 Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I heard a lot of good things about him. He's actually under Daphne's bucket too, so I know for sure that he's a go-to guy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and by the way, you mentioned about Jerry. Jerry was actually here just a couple of weeks ago. Did you get a chance to meet up with him?
No, but I saw it on Facebook that he was here.
Yeah, we were
And
we were supposed to meet, but apparently he was in Pampanga and I was in southern part, so we
mm,
weren't able to have a chance. And then when he went to the southern and I was actually in the northern, it was really out of distance, out of way. So we just said to each other, we'll have each other's time probably by the end of the year, because he'll be back by December.
oh, I see. But I don't know if I'll ever get the chance to meet him because, I'm from far away.
Oh,
So,
sorry to
yeah,
hear.
I'm not in Metro Manila. I'm not in Luzon area, so it would be hard for me to go there and travel just to meet and greet. So, I don't think I'll ever have the chance to do that.
Yeah, we might be because we are actually colleagues, so
Oh,
we might be seeing each other in Pascuhan that
well,
held in UST.
just go ahead and tell him I said hi when you meet him.
Of course, I'll do that.
But we're still friends on Facebook, though.
Good, good, yep.
Hmm.
But he's no longer with Mud. Anyway, so much for that. So we talk about our leads, systems, and processes. Let's move on to personal feedback about the coaching sessions with Adam Bailey's team. So, who would like to go first? I'd like to hear more about this because this is our main topic.
Yeah. So should I go first or should Lance
Go
go first
ahead,
this
go
time?
ahead.
Lance should go first this time
Yeah,
because
yeah.
um when I
I,
sent out the email, it was me who sent Billy first. So and but Lance, he was able to like give out a very detailed report to Billy, feedback to Billy about everything. So he should go first, I guess.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so
no problem. I was just baiting you, and I was just waiting for you to tell something. But okay, I'm gonna go first. Yeah, I sent a very detailed message because the coaching session really helped me a lot, and I was very thankful that Billy and Heidi invested on hiring Select Homes, Adam Bailey, to give us the opportunity to improve and learn a lot from them based on their numbers and experience. Um,
hmm
Prior to joining the coaching sessions, I really had a limited ways of handling or overcoming objections. But when I jump into their session, I learn a lot of stuff, overcoming objection, and not just the usual stuff that you learn from videos online or um, excuse me for saying this, but the training that we got from my outdesk, it's so much more
Mhm.
complicated, and it's
Yeah,
really
that's
based
true.
on experience. And the person behind it really thought of implementing it in a way that it would be effective, not just for training, but to
That's true.
share to someone who would like to really come up with the numbers.
Mhm. So in short, sorry, I kind of
I was
lost
gonna
you
say a
there.
lot of stuff, but I'm just kind of thinking at this moment. Okay, so one of the really cool stuff there is that the they have the what do you call that, Kay? Foundation
Yeah,
training. That's the session where they discuss um, tracking the numbers, tracking the calls. You have to know your math. That's their principle behind it. You have to know what type of leads are generating appointment, what hours are the best time to call leads, those kind of stuff. So that way you can, at the end of the day or at the end of the month, you can look at those numbers and analyze in which area are you being productive and which area are you not um, being efficient, and the things that you can improve on.
Okay. But do they do a? I was just curious. I haven't attended Adam Bailey's coaching yet. Do they? When did they usually conduct these sessions? Like which days and what time?
It's from Mondays through Thursdays.
Thursdays.
Every day
Yeah.
they have different topics. Mondays it's data management with their ISA manager. They
Mm-hmm.
would show how they manage their data, how they rotate it from one ISA to another ISA. On Tuesdays they
It's
have
uh,
live call
live
for
calls with.
expired
Mhm.
FISBO and withdrawn listings for
Mhm.
2 hours. Wednesdays it's time
hmm
calls.
IVR
Thursday
sign calls with Barbara.
Thursday is the big day for them. That's when they
Yeah,
have three
coaching.
different sessions. The first
Mhm.
one is the foundation that I just mentioned. There's another one for advanced group session. This is where they tackle scripts, overcoming objections, more of the advanced stuff in dealing with difficult type of leads.
Okay. Lance, can you do me a favor right after our call? Could you send
Mhm.
me a copy of that schedule
Sure, no worries.
via email? I just like to have my own copy of that
Okay, sure.
because Billy would like me to get feedback from them as well and be able to attend session. I'm not sure how I'll be able to do that, but I'll try to attend one of their sessions. What time do they usually conduct these sessions?
Their time zone is on CST,
Yes,
but they usually start on Monday they start 9:30, right?
morning.
9:30 p.m. Manila
Yeah.
time.
Sorry, 9:30 p.m. Manila
No,
time.
that's 9:30 in the morning CST.
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not
Okay.
sure. I think
Yes,
that's
it's
2 hours.
11:30. Yeah, 11:30 p.m.
Yeah. And for the rest of the days, they start at 10, 12, and on Thursdays, the three session. There's a session at 12, there's a 2, and there's at 5 p.m. But
Okay.
Lance will send you the schedule, so
Yeah.
at least you'll have
Yeah, if you
the
send me the
exact time
schedule,
frame.
yeah, Lance, when you send me the schedule, could you convert that to Pacific,
All right. No
right?
stuff. Yeah.
Because I would need to, have everything in Pacific time zone. So when I
Okay.
inject that in my calendar, it won't be that complicated. Thanks, Lance. Anyway, do you guys log into something or do you just dial out a code or how do you jump into their calls?
Same thing with Fastlane.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. So there's
go
a
to
dedicated.
meeting.
Okay, all right. And do they ask for you to role play with them or do you just observe?
They do.
They do ask us to join for role play,
Yeah. It's
Okay.
an
and they ask us.
interactive class, so
Mhm.
but if you don't want to join and participate in the role play, they're gonna ask you to leave the session.
Oh, okay. Seriously?
Yeah.
That's good.
And yeah, and also if they're just asking questions, they will just randomly ask you questions of what are the things that you've accomplished within the week or last week, what are the challenges that you've met, so stuff like that.
Okay. Well, that's good. Yeah. Uh, did you guys have a chance to role play with Adam?
I never got the chance to role play with Adam, but there was a time when we did have we did have a discussion because most of the time he will be asking to role play those. Um, Sometimes there's a they would volunteer, right, Lance? They would
Yeah,
volunteer
they're
to
gonna
do
ask
the
for
role
volunteer
play
first. If
because
nobody
Adam,
volunteers, yeah.
yeah, because Adam will be asking who would be interested to role play, and there will be like a few of them, a lot of them actually, he would do volunteer. So yeah, but if there will be no volunteers, it would be Adam who would get to ask randomly who would do role play
Oh,
with him.
but Adam is always present in the call.
Yeah.
Yes,
There's
especially during Thursdays, but sometimes it's Mark.
Okay, I see. All right. Well, thank you for that feedback. Also, later on, before I forget, I need you uh, to give me your individual. I know that you've sent your individual feedback to Billy, but I need you to send out your things that you have learned and things that you think might need some improvement with regard to coaching sessions with
Mm-hmm.
Adam Bailey's team. So again, things that you have learned that had helped you
Mm-hmm.
with improve your current role with HB team, and things that you think you still need to improve on. You guys get my
Okay.
point?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah, of course.
Sure you've
Yeah.
already absorbed that. All right.
Yeah.
So we're done with Adam Bailey's team. Adam is actually such a great guy.
He is.
I've known him since when I was promoted to a training team manager's post with Mod because I was assigning. We used to assign VAs to him to their team, who have been assigned with a VIP client. So that
Okay.
was the case when we were, when before we even put them on a specific team with a VIP client, we endorsed them first to Adam Bailey's team. And although I haven't talked to Adam since what, 2 or 3 years ago after I left training, um, but yeah, he's a great guy. I still get to follow him on Facebook. There are times that we still get to chat, but you know, he. I think he is a good mentor, but I
He
still
is.
would
Mhm.
consider if you guys have known Derek Lipsky. Have you heard of him?
No.
Yeah, Derek Lipsky, the
Derek
one in
Lipsky.
YouTube.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That guy is. I think he's the best guy I've ever met when it comes to. He's the best ISA ever for me. He's my mentor when I was just starting. I had my individual coaching session with him. I proactively approached him way back, and he was too nice. He was too kind to give me a free session with him. So that's how I got to how I got to meet him. And I was trained with different approaches. That's why my approach is more of a Lipsky's type of approach
Oh.
than
All
Adam
right.
Bailey's type of approach. But Adam Bailey's more on scientific.
Yeah.
Derek Lipsky is more on the shortcut.
I see.
And it's more in the
Interesting.
aggressive, yeah, it's more in the aggressive way, but I
Hmm.
find it more effective because the area that I got to cover in my set with my second client was in Brooklyn, New York. It was too tough because it's too tough to deal with New Yorkers.
All right.
Mm.
Yeah.
They're too aggressive, they're too weird. I hate to say that, but they're really rude. And I thought that that was very helpful for me because I was averaging 5 to 10 appointments per day, way
Wow.
Wow.
and
Buyer
it was
leads or seller leads?
for buyers and sellers.
Okay.
And we were somebody's calling Skype.
Sorry, that's me.
Okay. You have a call you need to attend a call?
No, that's all right. It's just a call that that was missed earlier, and
Okay.
probably he's calling me back. So that's all right. I'll just call him back later.
Okay. All right. Um, so yeah, that was actually both for buyers and sellers. We were averaging 15 closings per week way back. I was the only ISA in their team, and that was too hard because I was working from 8 a.m. Eastern until 8 p.m. Eastern, so 12 hours,
Wow.
no breaks, calling out from 8 until 8. And I've done that for I think just almost a year, 11 months. I left because I was I don't want to use the word
Too good
pirated.
for the job.
No, I don't want to use the word pirated, but but that was actually more on more we were able to build a team because we hired three more ISAs with his team, and they felt that we were growing, and I just decided that I had to jump to a different role wherein I was offered the business development role, and I thought that was cool, so I jumped out of his team and moved out to a different team. Parang call center lang.
Very
But
true.
that
But
was
your experience is really extensive, Christian, I must say.
seriously. I really wouldn't consider that yet because I'm still a virtual assistant. Although I have jumped in from one place to another here in my Aldes. I've been with the training team. I've been with the support team. I've been a coach. I've been handling. I even handled HR for quite some time, and even recruitment. So,
Wow. You've been
with
everywhere.
yeah, that's what I usually say when I was still in training. I've been to everywhere here in mod. I've been a VA. I've been an ISA. I've been a GVA. I've been the only thing that I have not done, and I have Bell here, is transaction coordination. I know Belle is laughing if she could hear me. That's the only thing I haven't done. So I'm really, I'm a dumb, stupid guy with TC. I don't even know how it works. I have
Yeah.
troubles understanding
Hmm.
words with regard to contract because
Yeah.
I have trauma. I once handled TC when I was starting. We were given a TC test when I was starting with mod, and I answered it. And there were like 50 or 60 questions in that form. And guess what my score was?
49.
I wish. Dude, I got zero. Imagine I spent 8 hours answering the form and I got zero. And the rest of the
Wow.
and the rest
That's a
of the
hard
class,
blow.
yeah, the rest of
Uh-huh.
the class got 47, 48 out of 50 or 49. I was the lowest one. I was the last one. My name was the last one to be announced in the scoring sheet, and I was, hey, what's my score? And that's why it's blank. It's because it's zero.
Oh
There's
my
no
gosh.
correct. Yeah, there's no correct answer at all. None of those questions have I answered correctly. So it was weird, and I thought that I was in the wrong class, and they thought as well that I was in the wrong class. But yeah, we were all right. Yeah, I was in the wrong class. I didn't know because that was my first day, and
Well,
they were on their last day, which is weird, right? And I just realized that I was an ISA. That was my first horrible experience with my Autodesk.
wow.
I attended a GVA training on their 10th day, and it was my first day. That's why I got zero. So ever since then,
How did you got there? How did that happen?
well, I was endorsed to a trainer, and I thought that was the trainer that was assigned to me. I didn't realize that I was for orientation. So, nalita ako sa kabila.
Oh,
So
okay.
I thought I was in the right room because I was too silent. I was just observing. I was too hesitant to ask questions. So I just went with the flow, and I realized that I was in the wrong class after I took the exam. The first day of class was really traumatic for me.
Yeah, so
I got traumatized.
You have to go through a traumatic experience before you'll realize that
Yeah.
you're in the wrong room all the time.
Yep. And for me, it was, it was really a wake-up call because ever since then, I joined ISA class. Everything was really more on technicalities.
Yeah.
Our trainer way,
Hmm.
way back was too strict. He was cutting cutting out. He's reducing our numbers from, we started at 20 down to 15, down to 10, down to 6.
Hmm.
Only 4 of us graduated. So
Yeah,
yeah,
training with
yeah.
MOD is very hard, Christian, I should say, because I've also gone through a couple of trainings, but my training with MOD was the toughest, I should say.
Well, it's simply because you're working from home and it's not an actual
Yeah.
type of class that you usually had way, way back when you were still in the BPO industry.
Uh-huh.
So I would really consider it. If you're not used to, self-training, then you're
Hmm.
gonna have difficulties dealing with it.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
anyhow, so much for that.
Uh-huh.
So let's quickly enumerate our daily struggles in call barriers.
Hmm.
Daily struggles like I've been struggling with this system. I've been struggling with my time management because I think that I'm spending too much time in sellers. I thought that I haven't been generating appointments for buyers simply because I think the time frame was given to me was kind of complicated because I call buyers around 4 p.m. and I think that nobody's answering, so I think that's something that has to be moved. So that's
Hmm.
just an example. And for call barriers, like I usually get not interested,
Uh-huh.
don't call me ever, take me out of your list. I'd like to hear more of that from you. Lance, let's start with you.
All right. So
Daily
as I,
struggles first. Yeah, daily struggles.
okay, struggles.
Take time to think.
Okay. Well, I think my main concern right now, which I'm struggling with, is
Hmm.
the lack of leads to
Sleep.
work on
Okay.
every day. As I've mentioned,
Right.
I've already exhausted the expired, withdrawn, canceled all the way from last year, and now I'm nurturing about 200 buyer from Boomtown that I got from K. So those 200, and I have about um, 200 expireds, and that's pretty much it. So every day I'm gonna go through all of these leads,
Are these
attempting
leads
to
from
contact them.
Land Voice or from Boomtown?
I'm sorry,
Are these leads that you are pertaining to, are they from Land Voice or from Boomtown?
from both. But
200 in
yeah,
total?
200 from Boomtown and about 200 for Land Voice.
Okay, from Land Voice. So that's estimate, what, roughly 400 in total?
Right, and
Are we
because
not generating new expired leads with Land Voice?
not daily. Um,
Yeah, but
this
are we
month,
still
yeah.
generating new? Like, how often do we generate? Sorry if I keep on asking questions. I'd just like to understand. How
Mhm.
often do we generate, based from your, experience or observation, how often do we generate new leads, and how many new leads, new expireds, and new FISBO leads are being generated by LandVoice? Because I've used that system
Um,
before too.
yeah, I do it weekly, and I get about 50 to 60, maybe sometimes 80 leads from Land Voice. After filtering out, I would get half of that, and those are the ones that I'm calling.
Okay, all right.
So yeah, I
Um,
think that's the and if you've read the email that I sent to Billy, one of the things that I've noticed that Select Home is implementing on their ISA is that they have this rotation for lead, in their database. So for
mhm.
example, K calls um, all of the buyer leads, but after doing calls on those leads, it would be turned over to another ISA, and that other
Mhm.
ISA would have a chance to further nurture or try to turn around leads that haven't been set up for an appointment. So everybody gets a chance, and I think that's one of the things that I would like to suggest for my personal development as well, and to improve my numbers, because I want to set up seller appointments, but if I'm not generating enough leads, I
Hmm.
need to come up with a way to
Hmm.
be efficient and use my time to talk to somebody and turn them into an appointment.
That's a great
Sorry.
idea. Go
You
ahead.
say that process again. What are they implementing that you need us to implement as well? What kind of process is that?
Let's
Because
say,
yeah,
let me rephrase, Lance. Is that
yeah,
okay, Lance, if I will take
for sure.
over?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you got the idea.
What Lance was trying to say, Christian, was that with Adam's team, what they usually do is that, for example, today,
Hmm.
you're calling out buyers' leads, but definitely not all the leads on those lists are, being contacted. It's not every day that you will be able to contact all of the set of leads that are coming in within the day. So what they usually do the following day, those set of leads, they will assign it to another ISA and see if they could contact them, set up an appointment, or nurture them. Because sometimes also it matters that you would connect with a lead, but it's not a regular thing. Sometimes their personality differences or probably the choice of words that we use during the call does not um, tick with the clients that we're talking to. So what they do, they would try to see if another ISA would be able to communicate better with the lead,
Right.
and that way the ISA, other ISAs also will get the chance to nurture and talk to leads that is previously assigned to another ISA. That way everybody will get the chance to touch base with all of the leads, and unlike what we have in our team, that Lance is specifically, exclusively assigned to seller leads, prospecting expired, and the leads that are assigned to him in Boomtown. And on my end as well, I'm exclusively assigned to Boomtown leads
Hmm.
and Zillow leads. I've never gotten the chance to speak with seller leads from FISBO and expired for quite some time now. So what happens with Adam Bailey's team is that there's a regular rotation with the type of leads that are assigned to different ISAs. So everybody gets a chance to nurture. Everybody gets a chance to talk to new buyers leads. Everybody gets a chance to talk to old Zillow leads or new Zillow leads or expired leads and FISBO leads as well. So there's a wider opportunity for the ISAs to be able to communicate with different type of leads. Also, it's a great way for the ISA to improve himself or herself to with their skills, because on my end I felt like I'm not growing on on the on my technical side and my skill side or professional side as an ISA, because I haven't been um, contacting or talking to seller leads. And
Hmm.
on Lance end as well, I think that's the reason why that his scores are not, I mean, his numbers, he's not hitting his weekly appointments because of the opportunity that he's getting. I understand that it's hard to get phone appointments with just seller leads. I know how hard that is, because especially when you're contacting or calling the new seller leads that are coming in, a lot of agents will be calling them. It's like a feeding frenzy going on. So it's especially when you're like the nth agent who contacted them, they would
Right.
sort of, they would feel irritated to be getting all these calls. How come there are, a lot of agents calling them now that their property has already expired? How come there's none of them calling when they were still selling their homes or stuff like that? So there's a lot of objections, and that's the reason why we get a little numbers when it comes to seller leads. But if everybody gets the chance to talk to the leads that we have on our database, I think that would be a great idea for. I mean, there's a greater chance for us to grow as a team. Um, that's my personal observation. And if we are trying to copy Adam's marketing strategy or ISA approach, I think that we should also try to practice that on our team. But it all depends if, you know, our bosses would submit to that kind of practice as well. So even if we do want to copy their results and their strategies, but we also have to make sure that our team protocols will be maintained. So that's the dilemma.
Yeah,
Um,
and to
mhm.
add to that, one of the feedbacks that we've gotten from Mark and Adam is that you don't compare an ISA if he's getting more appointments to the other ISA having less
Right.
appointment. It really boils down to the type of leads that
Leads.
they're working
Mhm.
on and
Mhm.
the data pool that they have. Because
Mhm.
that's that's where frustration kind of hit me really hard because I was dealing with seller leads and I was comparing my numbers on other ISAs in our team. Not
Mhm.
just in our team but in other
Yeah, the
clients
entire
as well.
Rockstars
The
team.
entire
Mhm.
mod ISA roster, and I was looking at their numbers and I was looking at ISAs dealing with buyer leads and seller leads, and man, they were hitting 20 appointments, 16 appointments per week, and you would see that the ones assigned to seller leads are hitting, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a week, sometimes none. So that's when I realized that it might be a good suggestion to implement what Select Homes is doing because it benefits everybody, right? Because um, let's say right now we have 3,000 over 3,000 leads in Boomtown, and most of them are assigned to K. And I'm working on about 200 or 300. Let's be honest, those 2,000 or 3,000 leads, not everyone will be contacted by K, and we're missing
Mhm.
the opportunity to follow up with the leads that are coming into our website day in day out. So if I can get my hands on those leads, I know I perhaps can come up with an
And
appointment from them.
mhm.
Mhm. Yep, I agree with you on that. Can you guys still hear me?
We
Yeah,
can
you're
hear you
fine.
just
Yep.
fine.
Okay, sorry, I think I got disconnected for a few seconds. I didn't realize I clicked on sign out. I'm just glad that the call didn't get disconnected. Well, anyway,
Alright, so that's for the daily struggles. About barriers you were asking earlier on. Um, what makes seller leads difficult for me is that even though attending sessions from Fastlane, SME, and Select Homes, is that what I notice is the difference is that other agents or other ISAs who attended those sessions, they have their specific value proposition. They would present something specific on a call to a seller, like, hey, we have this 1 day listing program. If we cannot sell your property for 60 days, you can, you know, um, you know, like cancel the contract with us, something like that, something specific. And I haven't had a chance to ask Billy, which is kind of my fault as well, to give me specific incentives or program that we have for the team that that I can tell to seller leads to convince them to a listing appointment.
okay, give me one quick second here, okay? All right, let's talk about. Have you guys ever raised this to Billy or Heidi before?
No,
Um,
we haven't
no.
been. Billy hasn't been in contact with us for quite some time now. But no, we haven't. We haven't discussed or we haven't been. We have not been asked for feedback with regards to our training with Adam Bailey until recently.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, I understand. Well, going forward though, my recommendation is this, right? Let's make it a practice that, let's practice being proactive going forward. That whenever we face issues, concerns whatsoever, let's not just deal with ourselves. We can tackle that amongst ourselves, but we need to get them involved too because they need to hear things like these things that you guys are raising up. Otherwise,
Yeah.
they'll just rely on their personal observations. And like
Because
what just
yeah,
Lance
go
said,
ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Allow me to finish first. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
sure. I'm sorry.
What I'm saying is, we don't want them to stick to their personal observation if they don't understand, because they don't have a chance to get to talk to us on a daily basis. They would just rely on feedback from Coach Daff, feedback from Bell, feedback from our performance, feedback on the port, feedback on the results. But the entire story, we're just like actors and actresses. They won't know the scripts that we're reading. They don't know the hardships that we're dealing with. They won't know the sleepless nights that we've been having. They're just gonna watch the entire film, and they're just gonna evaluate us based from our performance. That's it.
Mhm. Mhm.
We need to be proactive in terms of raising concerns like, hey, direct, I kind of like the script doesn't work for me. What should I do with this? What should I do with that? Hey, Direct, I'm having problems with this producer. Hey, Direct, I'm sorry if I'm citing an analogy here. I'm just wanting to, make sure that you guys understand what I meant. Right? They need to be aware. They need to be made aware of such situations. All right. But that recommendation that Lance said should have been raised up ever since, even prior to me joining the team. But yeah, it's a good thing that Lance brought that up, and Kay is supporting that because at least right now they have an idea, or
Mhm.
we already have an idea of what your challenges and struggles are. So maybe we could come up with a better approach. But still, guys, everything that we do, it's still gonna be results oriented, right?
Mhm. I know.
Meaning to say,
Mhm.
they're still gonna look up to the results that we're
Yeah.
producing. If we still don't come up with the good result, then it's still insanity. Insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result.
Mhm.
So, uh, sorry, Kay, you were supposed to say something. Yeah, feel free to.
Yeah. Like with our issue on Zillow.
Mhm,
I've been having this issue with Zillow since last year, August. That was August, I think.
mhm,
Yeah, that's like a year ago. When Zillow was taken off from me, I wasn't in fact you know um informed right away. I just noticed that somebody was already taking over my notes on Zillow. So that's when I realized that someone else is already calling. I thought that they hired another ISA, but that's when I inquired Billy. I asked him if they hired another ISA or somebody from their office in Sacramento that to call out Zillow leads. That's when I realized. He told me that you know they're having a Zillow concierge who will be calling out most of the Zillow leads, and he said that
mhm,
he will be calling out. They will be calling out day in and day out. They will be calling them on a regular basis and stuff like that. And so I said okay, and then I focused on going to Boomtown, and that's when a couple of months went by. I think Bell would agree, and we've discussed about this previously, that we are not getting a lot of closed appointments. I mean, closed transactions from our Zillow leads, as in like it dropped for a big number. And I was asking Billy if the Zillow concierge were doing the same thing that we're doing on our team protocol, which is to not only call them, but to send them email to give them information about the status of the property that they're inquiring about, and also to update them on our emails and to let them know that we're contacting them, and we wanted to know more what type of leads they're get what type of homes they're inquiring about, what's their category. And
mhm.
after that, what we do, I'm just explaining to you what's the protocol with
Yep.
our with the Zillow leads that we've been doing previously. After inquiring from them, they would respond to us and let us know what's the type of home, what's their criteria. We will go ahead and send them email. It's
Mhm,
like an e-alerts that we're using on Boomtown right now to send them regularly of the available listings that we have through email. It's like an e-alerts that would update them or give them information of what's out in the market right now based on their criteria and their price range. So we would always be in contact with them. I'm not sure even up to now if Zillow is doing that, but as I've talked to Connor a couple of days, probably that was this month or last month. He's like the marketing assistant for Zillow, and he told me the same thing, that there is like what was his term? There was like a gap on the streamlining of phone appointments between the Zillow concierge to the BA, because supposedly what he wanted to achieve is that once the Zillow concierge will be able to contact and set up an appointment, they will be either warm transferred to the BA, or they will be set up for an appointment with a BA. But what happened before that was that there was an ISA. Her name is Joelle. She was working um, with Billy and Heidi in their office previously. What happened was that after the Zillow concierge will be able to take the call and set up an appointment, the lead will be transferred to Joelle. Joelle will be assigning the leads to whoever BA is available. So that's like a three-person transfer. If I were the lead, I would not be interested to be transferred from one person, talking to one person to another who is not, actually capable of helping me out with what I need. So what Connor said is that we're missing out a lot of money from our Zillow leads because of that streamlining gap that we have from our Zillow leads. And I've been saying that to Billy. I've been giving him information. I've been emailing him, letting him know about that. But I haven't been receiving any feedback um, with regards to that concern, because I believe that, they still want to follow the same thing. But for the past 6 months, I guess, the only sources that we got from Zillow is only like about 1% as compared to the sales we're making the past few months when we were handling Zillow by our own. So that's a lot of money wasted down the drain. So that's my thing. If we raise out an issue, we raise out a problem, there's like I don't know, a gap
Mm-hmm.
in between. Um, I'm not sure. Although I understand that both Heidi and Billy are very receptive to suggestions, but coming from our end, I know that they see the business in a higher level, in a managerial position. But from our end, this is the challenges that we see. This is the gap that we need to patch up if we do want to be able to meet our goals for this month, especially for um, this time of the year towards the end
Mm-hmm.
of 2016.
Okay.
Because comparing Zillow leads to Boomtown leads, the challenge with Boomtown leads is that we get a lot of bad leads. There are a lot of them who would register with invalid phone numbers and emails.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm having a lot of time reaching out to those leads. There are leads who would register even if their email is invalid and phone number is invalid. I don't know how come, but that they would appear in Boomtown, that they've been revisiting our website. Even I would tag them as trash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so as compared to Zillow leads, wherein 80% of those that are inquiring are actually motivated buyers,
Mm-hmm.
the only challenge with Zillow leads is that there are a few who would call in, but they already have agents assisting them. So it's like they're just making their own research, but majority of the leads that are coming in from Zillow are actually motivated buyers. So when you would ask them if they're interested to, get pre-qualified and all that stuff, they're ready. So it's such a waste to be able to watch all these Zillow leads not being attended to properly because of that streamlining issue.
Okay.
So I
Well,
hope that Billy and Heidi will be able to understand how important it is for us to fix that issue so
mm-hmm.
that our closing ratio would increase.
Okay. All right, so Billy and Heidi, if you're listening to this, you heard that from McKay.
They're listening live right now?
Didn't you know that this is a radio station wherein you can, you can raise all
Gotta
your
be,
concerns?
you're
We're being
killing me.
heard. We're being heard by the entire nation. So go ahead and speak up. The floor is yours, Kay.
Well, I was just I was just raising the same concern because I believe that Connor already raised that same issue to Billy and Heidi previously. That's what he told me.
Mhm.
So
Well, you know what? Let me
I'm
tell
just
you this.
yeah.
Have they responded back? No.
No.
No, they have not. So do not stop.
Okay.
Right? When you raise concern, it doesn't end from you emailing them.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just don't say that, okay, I'd just like to make you aware that blah, 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 blah. No, you don't stop by there. You don't stop there. You have to put that as your starting point. Make that your starting point in follow up the next day or the following day or the following week and so on and so forth until you hear from them. If they don't respond via email, text them. If they don't respond via text, send a hangout message. If you have exhausted all possibilities and none of them work, call them because it
Okay.
needs, it needs their attention. You need to bring them up. You need to bring this up to their attention to the highest level because this is becoming an urgent matter for us.
Okay. Because I was thinking that, I was assuming that, maybe they don't want to, they just want to stick to what we've been doing because that's what they want for our team protocol. So sorry if I'm a bit assuming, but I just don't want to be, I'd rather be labeled assuming than being pushy, I guess. I don't know.
No, 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 no. It's not about being pushy. It's more on, just giving them an awareness.
Okay.
And because until they confirm that they have replied and acknowledged your email, and that's the
Okay.
only time that you can assume that they read it. All right. There might be some times where, imagine it. Put it this way: do you have a kid, Kay?
Yes, I do.
Imagine your kid. Imagine that you're working. Imagine yourself working, having phone time with Heidi or a VIP client, and then your kid suddenly approaches you and tells you that, "Hey, mom, did you know that I got 85 in my score earlier?" Would you be able to put your attention to that?
No.
No, right? See,
Mhm.
pretty much the same thing when, you raise a concern to Billy and Heidi. They might be doing something else, something that's more important to them. That's why, when they probably had a chance to see your email, they may not have, it's not, I'm not saying that they're not putting their attention on on our concerns, but it's more in like they might have missed that. So
Okay.
it's our obligation to follow up because we are the ones who's wanting to reach out and just give them an awareness that this is what's happening. This is what I think the concern is for my end. I just need your
Mhm.
thoughts. Maybe you could make give your recommendations, stuff like that.
Mhm.
What are the things that you think might be helpful for us? Because if you don't mind me recommending, then you can also propose your recommendations. Stuff like that would usually end up uh, result in a better or would give us a better result. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are you able to follow? So
Yeah.
do not hesitate, all right? Never hesitate. Like what I said earlier, replace the frustration with a mindset of being courageous.
Okay.
All right. So have the courage to approach, have the
Yeah.
courage to reach out, have the courage to raise concerns.
Mhm.
It's not about complaining. We're not trying to complain. Hey Billy, hey Heidi, how come our leads are like this and like that? No, we are raising concerns to them, telling them that Heidi and Billy, um, these are the things that we've been struggling with for the past couple of weeks. Just want to highlight that Zillow blah 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 had never blah 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 blah. So state all the facts. All right, lay out your
Mhm.
cards, and once they have had the opportunity to see that, then they're gonna respond to you.
Okay.
They will. They love us. These people have concerns. too, especially otherwise they wouldn't hire us at all. They wouldn't entrust us with with their business, right?
Right.
So again, let's not hesitate. So do me a favor, Kay. I need you to, if you can, please do, highlight all these things that you have said earlier in bullet points if possible. But yeah, make it in detail. Send it over to me first, all right, so I can read and review. Uh,
And edit.
and Yep, and edit if possible, and then we'll raise it to Billy and Heidi. And same
Okay.
thing with you, Lance. Same thing with you
Okay.
for all of your struggles and concerns and suggestions. But let's make it let's categorize them. For instance, for Zillow alone, systems, and then Zillow. What are the concerns? What are the struggles that we're facing? What are the recommendations? Can we do that?
Okay.
Struggles,
Yeah.
concerns, and then recommendation. And
Let
then
me
same,
note.
then with the process of spreadsheet, for instance. So this is the spreadsheet. Let's highlight the current processes that are in place. What are our concerns? What are our struggles? And what's our recommendation? So that's how we're
Yep.
going to organize things. Okay, we're going to
Okay.
highlight what's in place, what's our struggles, and what are the concerns, and then our personal recommendation. And then we're going to ask them, what are your thoughts? Does that make sense? Do you think that's a better plan?
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
Right? Because that's the only way that I've thought of in order for us to meet halfway,
Right.
right? And just like what you said earlier, I totally agree with you. I'm not saying I highly agree, all right? I totally agree with you that we cannot measure an ISA's performance based from the number of appointments being set because these two might be calling to different leads. Like in the basketball team, I cannot say that this is a point guard is a better basketball player than a center. If you guys play basketball,
Right. Yeah.
sorry, some analogy of basketball. But yeah, but you get my point. You cannot say you cannot
Sort
say
of.
that you cannot
Sort
say
of.
that Michael Jordan plays better than Shaquille O'Neal because they both play different roles in their team, right? Shaquille
Right.
plays center, and Michael Jordan plays all around. So yeah, he's really a better player. But yeah, what I meant was it depends on the contribution
Yeah.
that these folks are providing to the team. But yep, that's what I meant. So in order for us to understand that, you have to let us know, right? Otherwise, we won't know that, right? But it's a good thing. I appreciate this session because you guys are able to vent out. You guys are able to say your piece and be able to let us know your struggles. So let's go ahead and proceed. Anything else that I'd like to or you'd like us to hear about or you'd like to share with us?
Well,
Good.
just for the record, on Zillow, that was not only my own observation, but also observation from Connor himself. So I won't be taking sole responsibility for that comment, just for the record.
Sure,
But
sure.
I
No
will
worries.
definitely
Again, again,
I will definitely note that
this is
on the
not
report that I will be making.
yeah, this is not going to be taken against anybody. This is just in order for our bosses to hear
Yeah.
our side because like I said, my goal here is to bridge as much as possible to eliminate the gap, not just to bridge the gap.
Okay.
'Cause my goal is not to bridge the gap. I'd like to eliminate the gap between, our departments, so we would be able to connect, right?
Okay.
In order for us to connect each other, we need to destroy the gap, not build the bridge, right?
Right. Right.
Cannot bridge the gap. You have to destroy the gap and be connected. So that's what we're trying to aim. So here in this case, yeah, we need to raise this to them. Um, we need to be together and work as a team, right?
Yeah, but
Whether
mhm.
yeah, what? Go ahead, Kate. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Take the
I,
floor.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna mention that Billy was. I think that you're CC'd on the email that he said that there's gonna be some changes on Zillow. Do you remember that email today?
Just today. I'm not sure if I was copied in that email. I
I
don't think
think.
I am, or I don't think I was because I am not seeing that.
Well, he did made mention. Let me see. He made mention about oh, actually you were not CC'd on this, I'm sorry. This was his response to me with the weekly task that I sent to him yesterday, that there has
Mhm.
been some, let me read his email. There has been some changes in the organization, but we need you and Lance to help in button up the Zillow leads for the moment. I'll circle back with everybody shortly this week. A lot is going on, especially with Heidi being pregnant at the moment.
Yep,
So
you see the
that's
pressure.
his
The
email.
pressure is on, you know. The
Mhm.
pressure is on. We need to take account, we need to be accountable to this. We need to take this off their back
Mhm.
and be able to stand up and
Mhm.
the front liner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're gonna build our a bigger plate for us
Mhm.
so nobody gets full. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
So for instance, Lance is currently busy dealing with these kind of stuff. We're gonna build him a bigger plate. Do you guys get my point? When I say
Yes.
build a bigger plate, because usually what other teams do is they take the food out of the plate so it doesn't get full, right? In our case, no, we're gonna replace the plate with a bigger one in order for
Okay.
you to eat more. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Take more
Right? But
responsibilities and
yeah, yep, it's more on responsibilities. We're not saying that we're gonna put the pressure on you. We really are putting the pressure. It's really in you, so we cannot take that
We
out,
are
right?
inside a pressure cooker.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
We can
There's
feel
nothing
the
that we can
pressure. Mhm.
there's nothing that we can do to take that pressure out of your bucket list. It's more on building you or giving you a bigger plate in order for you to eat more. That's the only way. Believe me, and I'm not trying to scare you guys. I am actually making you feel more excited. You know why? Because one thing that I've learned way back, before I even became a training manager here in Mod, is the moment that you step out of your comfort zone, that is the only time that you start growing. You
Yeah.
agree?
Yeah, I agree.
right.
And at this point, Lance and Kay, including Bell, we need to slow down in order for us to speed up. Because at this point, I know that you guys are too busy doing things on your own and figuring out things that you need to work on in order for us to improve, right? We spend so much time dealing with a lot of things, and there are even times wherein we forget the most basic things. And that's one of the things that we shouldn't be doing. So at this point, we need to slow down with whatever we're doing. We're going to categorize them again, start from scratch in order for us to speed up because we are trying to improve the process. You with me? You able to follow?
Yes.
Yes.
Baka nalulunod kayo. I know that
Hindi pa
Lance is
naman.
already I know that Lance is already out of shift, so am I. But we really need to tackle this now.
Yeah.
If not today, then when? So we need to crack this up and be able to come up with a better approach. So we're done with that. Anything else that you'd like to raise apart from
Yeah,
the
I'd like to raise on the
what
um
raise our
the, the,
pay?
the phone the phone appointments. I'm sorry. The phone
Okay.
appointments. I mean the what do you call this callback list from Heidi. Yeah,
Okay.
we sort of discussed about this, Lance and I, about our difficulties. Although Bell has already sent us like a video on what are the things that she would usually ask and what are the things that she would usually do when there are agents calling in about um, um, details from escrow or a lot of inquiries. But what I wanted to ask is that is it okay if we will be able to speak to somebody who is or are we allowed to even include that on our numbers for calling? I mean, yeah, dialed numbers. Can we add that? Is it okay, or should not be included from our numbers that we're supposed to be calling? Because on Mondays, There are already, even on Sundays, there are already a lot of pending numbers coming in from our outgoing calls for Heidi thread. So I got a lot of calls on Monday from Heidi's calling list, and I just wanted to know if it is considered a valid appointment if it's coming from Heidi's callback list because there are inquiries, buyers inquiries from there. Because with the past few weeks since we've been tasked to call back Heidi's leads, I've been setting up appointments as well from her callback list. So I've been adding it also to my numbers. I just wanted to know if that's even a valid thing to do or it should not be considered since it's coming from Heidi's callback list.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah,
Okay, have you asked Heidi about that?
no, I haven't.
Did she say that it's not supposed to be counted as her appointment?
No, she
So
just even said that to call back those numbers. There were
okay,
no
all right.
instructions.
I don't think there's any problem with that. She even
Yeah,
mentioned that just make sure that we keep track of where we are referring those leads to. So
yep.
I've
As long as
been
they're yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead, Lance. Sorry.
I was gonna say that I've been putting it in my own tracker in my numbers as well.
Okay, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
I
Right.
just wanted to make sure that there's no issue with that because I don't want to be in trouble.
Oh, you're
And
not gonna be
as
in trouble. Why would you be in trouble in the first place? I don't see any reason.
yeah, those are
Yeah,
appointments. Yeah.
Yep.
yeah,
That task was given to you, so I don't. I am assuming that Heidi has delegated this task for you to call her sphere and be able to set up appointments. So which means that every time you set an appointment, you categorize them as something that you were able to set for her, right?
okay, yeah,
So don't take it against you if unless she tells you that okay, please don't include that in your personal numbers,
okay,
right? You
all
understand?
right,
So that's the
yeah.
only time. So again, any other things that you guys have been struggling with? You thought of, struggles and challenges and barriers?
Okay, don't forget the okay, I'm gonna mention it. With
Okay. Wow.
confirming
Okay, go
the
ahead.
appointment, because this
Lot,
is
lot.
something that we've been discussing for a very long time, and we've also brought this up to Billy, but we haven't had a chance to
Get a
uh,
feedback.
you know and follow
Yeah.
up on it as well. So
Yeah,
yeah, so both ways. Because right now what we're doing is we send out invitation to BAs, so they're gonna accept the calendar invitation in Google Drive, Google Calendar, I mean. And once they accept the invitation for the phone appointment or office appointment, we won't get any feedback from
feedback.
them anymore
Hmm.
at all. What I noticed is that the difference is this is something that Select Homes is doing as well. So every time the buyer's agent accepts the invitation, as soon as they're able to confirm that they were able to speak to that lead or meet up with them, they're gonna write a little note on the invitation, hey, that hey, I was able to talk to this lead. At least that way we know as an ISA where we need to be at in terms of if we need to nurture that lead, if
Yeah.
we do have to do something else, or if
Hmm.
it's already been taken care of, and the
Yeah.
buyer's agent will do the rest. So that's something that we have to recommend to streamline as well, because
Yeah.
right now we don't have that in place, and it's really hard to keep track of those leads that we were able to set up appointment with buyer's agent, because those are the leads that can be converted into transactions, right? So
Hmm.
we need to, as an ISA, know their status with the buyer's agent. So
Yeah.
that's just one thing.
But just so you know, previously they when I notified all of the BAs about this, they used to give me feedback, or sometimes they would just let me know that they already noted on in Boomtown. But recently there's none. But I always get feedback from our lenders that they've contacted or they tried to call but they haven't contacted yet and will let me know if they were able to successfully pre-qualify them or not. But with the BAs,
Mhm.
the only information we get is that they did accept the phone appointment, but there's no feedback after that.
Yeah, and that's a really good thing, for our lender. I'm also getting a lot of feedback from Brian He's working
Mhm.
with Kevin Otto. So every time I forward a lead to him, he's always 100% all the time will give me a feedback if he's
That's
able to
true.
contact,
Yeah.
if he left a voicemail,
Yeah.
and that's a good thing because from that point I know if I have to follow up with a lead. You know,
Yeah. Mhm.
if I need to nurture him, if I need to send him more listings and all that
Reschedule.
kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, or reschedule. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. I see. So, again, this is something that you haven't brought up to their attention yet,
We did. We did because
or you just
even
not able to
before,
follow up.
yeah, even before Heidi, Billy and Heidi asked me to like make a tracker for all of the BAs and let them know that these are the leads that I've been assigning to them over the week. But I've been doing that, but there was no feedback. So sometimes I do feel like they might think that I'm a bit of overstepping them of their job, but I just wanted to make after quite some time. I send them text, I follow them up. There are times also that whenever I get to receive a notification from my calendar that there's a phone appointment for today, I would send them note that, or just to remind them that there's a phone appointment for today so that they won't forget. Sometimes they give me feedback, but just recently, for the past 3 weeks, I guess, there's been none. So I haven't been made, it's partly my fault, I guess, that I haven't been making follow up with them. But I hope that there's like a certain standard on our team that everybody would strictly follow, not just follow it for quite some time and then refuse to do it afterwards when Billy and Heidi's not making follow up. So I hope that there's a standard protocol for the BAs as well to
If they don't follow
contact,
up,
yeah, to contact our leads and to even at least respond to our emails because that's the struggle that we're going through um, ever since. So that's the
okay,
thing.
I understand.
hmm
Okay, anything else?
I don't know.
Going once.
Going twice?
And it's getting too nice. All right, so we're done with the struggles and all that. Tracking appointments, I think we did that already. You guys are using a spreadsheet, a uniform spreadsheet for tracking all the
Yeah.
calls and appointments.
hmm
Okay, all right, cool.
Did we give access to the BAs with the tracker that we're using from Adam Bailey's team? Were they given access to
Um,
that?
I don't think so.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
if you
Okay.
have seen it, Christian, there's like a note right there on the tracker for the BAs or lenders to input um, after their call if they've made contact or not.
Can you share
Um,
that tracker with me so I could
we,
have visibility
yeah,
of
I
it?
did already,
Yeah,
but I will just send it to you again, just so that to make sure that you are able to
sure.
have a copy of
Mm-hmm.
that tracker. And
Yep.
I just wish that there is like a that they would follow that tracker like it's a standard protocol for our team so that there will be like a clarity on the we can clearly track down the progress of the lead if they were being contacted or not so that we will be able to follow up on our end as well because we've been sending a lot of appointments but there's only very few closings. I don't want Billy and Heidi to think that Lance and I are not working on, setting up appointments because we have been, but there is a gap in between transferring the lead to the BA to reaching out to the client. That's what we wanted to know from our end so that we could also, like what you said, eliminate the gap and make everything work out for our team.
Okay. Um, yeah. So, anyways, please share me that spreadsheet so I could review
Yes.
that also.
Uh huh.
And yeah, anything else?
None, I
None.
guess.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's it for
Lance.
today. I think this is not gonna be the last session, so there's plenty of time for
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're gonna
more.
talk again tomorrow. We haven't done any, we haven't done anything yet. We just discussed, we just, laid out our cards, and we're gonna be discussing, you know, solutions. We're gonna be
Yeah.
coming up with better approaches and better solutions tomorrow.
Mhm.
Kate, since Lance is already out of shift, do me a favor. I'm gonna send you this, the link. By the way, this call is recorded, so everything
Mhm.
that you said, we
Will be
will keep
taken
a
against
copy.
you. Will be
No, of
used
course
under
not.
the court.
Well, we will be used against you, and then it's gonna testify. I was just kidding. No, we recorded this conversation. That's a reference, so at least moving forward, whenever we need a copy and listen to what are the things that we need to work on, at least we can always refer back to this. And Kay, I'm gonna be sending you the link later on. Do me a
Mhm.
favor, if you could give us a copy of the minutes of meeting, since most of the concerns come from you.
I
I,
haven't
I,
been taking notes. You
no,
didn't tell me.
that's why I'm gonna give you a copy of the link.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right.
Yeah. Just give us a detailed note of especially the struggles. All right. Those things that you and Lance have mentioned.
Okay.
Just
Do we have a
just give us your.
deadline on this? Should I submit it to
Yeah.
you today, or is it okay if I will submit it to you tomorrow?
If you could submit it to me early morning tomorrow, before the morning starts tomorrow, so, and at least by tomorrow shift, because I come in at 5, or no, 3:15 Pacific, so that's 6:15 a.m. Manila. So at least
Okay.
by the time that we get to work, because what I'm gonna do tomorrow morning, Pacific time, is I'm gonna review all the summary, and come up with how we're gonna figure out solutions for each. And then when we get to meet tomorrow, we're gonna tackle, individual solutions to each concerns. And of course, I'm gonna be dissecting and reviewing the email too, and be able to share it with Billy and Heidi. And at least once we have bring it up to their attention, I will take the responsibility of following up. You already did your part of raising it. I will do the honor of following it up with them.
Okay.
Right? I just need to, these to be highlighted. All right, so please do the honor. Would it be okay with you, Kay?
Yeah. Sure.
You have
Not a
knowledge,
problem.
no, I was just
Thank you,
kidding.
Kay.
Yeah. So much for that. I think we've tackled. It's been a great day. Thank you so much for attending this session. Thank you for raising all these concerns. Rest assured that we will keep this. You know. We will keep our bosses in the loop.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and I'll just look forward to the summary, Kay, if possible. If you could send it today, it would be great. And in the coming days, just to set the expectations, we're going to be tackling processes and role play sessions with you. I look forward to attending role play sessions with you too, individually,
Mhm.
because I would also love to share my personal approaches, and how I work on things, specifically on dealing with different leads. I know that you've had sessions with many trainers, many mentors, and I would also like to share mine, so you can all grab uh, complete knowledge and equip yourselves with more effective approaches and ways to become more productive and effective in your role. Okay?
Okay.
All right, so anything else that you'd like to tell me about, or are we good for today?
I think we're good. I need to get my
Lance?
breakfast.
Yeah, let's call it a day.
Let's call it a day. All right, thank you
Okay.
so much, guys. I'll see you
Thank
guys tomorrow.
you. You
Thank you.
too. Okay. Have a
Bye.
good one. Bye. Bye, Belle.